This is 93 Million with Doug Andrew. Welcome to 93 Million with Doug Andrew, where we talk about how to optimize your assets, minimize taxes, and empower the three dimensions of your authentic wealth. My name is Greg Dukowitz, your host, facilitator, and lover of fine pastries. And today we're going to talk about how small changes create massive wealth. And we are joined by the OG of properly structured IUL, New York Times bestselling author and the author of the L.A.S.E.R Fund, and a man who loves a good dad joke, Doug Andrew. Welcome, Doug. The master of the max-funded IUL, co-author of the L.A.S.E.R Fund, and a man with no shortage of opinions on the PC versus Mac debate, Emron Andrew. Emron, welcome.
Welcome.
A man who's a technician of IUL, also co-author of the L.A.S.E.R Fund, and a man who reviews actuarial tables in his free time, Aaron Andrew.
Thank you, Greg.
Good to have you here, Aaron. And our featured host today, one of the original converts from whole life to IUL, the president of L.A.S.E.R Financial, a true gentleman, and a man who's never had a bad hair day. Brandon Johnson. Welcome, Brandon.
How do you do?
It's good to have you here. All right, gentlemen, we have a lot to get to today. I'm excited, but let's first jump into our opening segment. 93 million. That's a lot of paper. Okay, how small changes make big impacts. Okay, Doug, many people are wondering, what in the world does the show's title 93 million with Doug Andrew mean? I mentioned my wife. She said, what does that mean? It's on everybody's mind. What is the significance of 93 million?
Okay, I've taught advanced continuing education for years to CPAs and tax attorneys, and I love doing this exercise with them, okay? I pass out this sheet of paper, and I tell them to keep it face down, printed side down, not look at it. And then I have them take out their sheets of paper, and I say, okay, I want you to fold this sheet of paper in half. Now, this is 26-pound copy paper. If you don't know what that means, it can hold 26 pounds before it rips. Did you know that? And then I say, now fold it in half one more time, hamburger style. See, this would be hot dog style there, okay? So this is hamburger style.
The things you learn on this show.
Yeah, okay. So you fold it over 2 times. Now, you physically can't do this because of the folds. I say, now imagine if you could fold this sheet of paper over 48 more times, a total of 50 times, okay? I want you all to write down on this sheet of paper in some form of measurement how thick you think that would be in millimeters, centimeters, inches, yards, miles, and write it down. And so, a room full of 80 CPAs, do that.
Yeah.
Okay, then I say, okay, how many, what were some of your answers? And some of them say 3 inches.
That's a lot. That's pretty thick. 3 inches is pretty thick.
6 inches. The first time I did this, I didn't have my calculator, but I said 2,600 miles at least. And I got laughed out of the room.
Like, what a joke, miles.
But the most common answer I get out of these CPAs about 6 inches.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
sometimes
right.
3 or 4 yards. Okay.
Yeah.
And I go, okay. Now, I usually ask them at the beginning of the continuing education course, how many of you understand compound interest? And they all raise their hand.
They all.
And I go, we'll see, okay? Then I go, okay, what is this doing every time you fold it in half? And they all go, it's doubling.
Uh-oh.
Double.
Wait a minute.
It's
Wait
doubling.
a minute.
They start to think their answer.
Yeah, they start
Anybody want to change their answers from 6 inches? Okay. Then I have them unfold their sheet of paper, and here is the math, okay? A 26-pound copy sheet of copy paper is 5/1000ths of an inch thick. So if you double it over, and then you double it over, okay? Now, if you did that 20 folds, it would be 1,048,000 times thicker. People go, what? Yeah.
Wow.
So do you know that if you folded it over 42 times, it would be from here to the moon? And they go, no way. I go, you fold it over 8 more times, a total of 50 times. And I show them to look at the bottom, okay? This stack of paper would be.
Let's show this on the screen.
Yeah. 93,647,293 miles. That's from here to the sun.
Wait. What did you say? How many miles again?
93 million. What a great name for a show, okay?
Miracle.
The miracle of compound interest. from here to the sun. In other words, if you could fold it over one more time, it'd be from here to the sun and back. That is the miracle of compound interest. 93 million.
Yeah, I've used this exercise and nobody believes me. They go, "No, that's not true. That can't be possible."
The proof is right there in front of you.
And if you don't believe us, just go do the math yourself. You can absolutely do the math yourself. So, yeah. So, hey, thoughts about this, Emran? Let's go to you. Thoughts about the 93 million small changes.
It's one of my favorite things because it really helps you open your mind, right? Start thinking bigger, better, differently.
Yes.
You know, one of the greatest principles I ever got from my dad was, be the first to admit that I don't know what I don't know. Right. And so I'm willing to listen and learn and just open it up. And that's what we hope to be able to do even on this show is to introduce, challenge each other, right? We're going to challenge each other and try to figure out how we can get good, better, and best ideas and answers.
Yes, and never let it rest.
Till good gets better and better gets better.
There you go. That's it.
We've heard that a few times.
Yeah, but that's good. That's the theme of this show, right? That's why we named it 93 million. So, Brandon, your thoughts on this subject?
Yeah, I mean, this obviously, when you think about doubling, you think about the power of something like this. You think about interest and how it can work for you or against you. There's always positive, wins and negative wins, and so think about the some of the things that can actually impact your interests in a positive way. That we can take advantage of, and things that could eat away at that as well, like taxes, inflation, and we'll get into all that stuff. But I mean, we're all kind of on this sailboat ride to our destination. We want a positive, tailwind pushing us along, and we want to be careful of the headwinds that are going to push us back or keep us, in place so that we can't move forward. And so,
yeah, I think it's just it's so powerful. People just think if you just start young. Just start saving. Just a little bit of money.
Yeah, small amounts.
Just small amount. Save what you can.
Right.
People should be saving 10, 20% of their income, of course. But just get started at a young age, socking away $500 a month, $250 a month, whatever you can do, and increasing that savings when your income goes up, of course. But it's amazing how you could have millions of dollars in retirement if you just start out young and those small things add up over time and compound.
Yeah.
And what's cool is if it compounds tax-free. We'll get into that.
Oh, yes, we will. Okay, so before we move on from this segment, Doug, any final thoughts on this kind of concept here?
Yeah, the smallest little changes make the biggest impact. Zig Ziglar, one of my favorite motivational speakers, used to talk about the difference between $1 million racehorse versus a $10,000 racehorse. Is $1 million racehorse 100 times worth 100 times more because it's 100 times faster? No. In a race 1 1/8 miles long, the Arlington Futurity, it's 72,000 inches. Sometimes the winning horse is one nose length, 1/72 thousandths faster. And so sometimes, if you were to take off to go around Earth and you were 1 degree off course and you never corrected that, you would be 500 miles from your intended destination by the time you came around. You have to make these little adjustments because the little bit of changes make the biggest impact.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's just awesome. So, all right, well, let's go to our next segment. But first, just a reminder that if you enjoy this content and you want to see more of it, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to ask us a question, please comment on this video, and we may use your question in one of our next shows. All right, on to our next segment, the facts of big impacts from future tax. Doug, we just talked about how small changes can make big impacts. Let's talk about taxes. What do most people miss about the impact of taxes?
Oh, this is a great one. If you'll show my screen, I want to demonstrate, first of all, the difference between tax favored accumulation and taxed as earned, okay? So as we just saw with this sheet of paper folded in half, if $1 doubles 20 times, it's worth $1,048,000, okay?
Right.
Now, that's if it's tax favored, right? Now, most Americans, the way they save is the worst way. In banks, credit unions, mutual funds where you pay tax every year on the interest and the dividends and everything like that. So in a 25% tax bracket, $1 doubling to $2, and then you pay tax of 25 cents on that. So you got $1.75. Now $1.75 doubles to $3.50, you pay tax on that. Instead of having your million, you'll only have $72,000, 7.2% of what you could have had.
That's a lot less.
Many Americans.
I'm no math wizard.
Many Americans are in a 33% bracket between federal and state. You would only have 2.7% of a million, 27,000, and that's the way most Americans save in taxed as earned investment.
That's right. Yeah, that's really interesting. Aaron, any thoughts on this?
We like to use another example, just, taxes, is we like to use an example. If you were a farmer and you had the choice when you went to go buy your seed.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I got to pay taxes.
Right.
Now.
Yeah.
Do I want to pay taxes on this seed in the spring when I buy my seed? Or do I want to pay taxes in the fall when I have my big harvest?
Right.
I mean, think of all those little small seeds.
Yes.
Then think about your big harvest in the fall.
Yes.
All that big equipment, the corn,
all the
whatever.
work that you put in.
All that work and you got this big harvest. Think about having to pay taxes on one or the other. On the seed in the spring or your harvest in the fall.
Yeah.
You guys can see where we're going.
It's a great analogy. I wonder where we got that from. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, my dad talks about that a lot. And it's amazing how it's like, oh, the light bulbs go on. I'd rather pay taxes on the seed.
The seed, yes, absolutely.
And when I'm enjoying my harvest in retirement,
yes,
spending the money,
yes,
it's like I want it to be tax-free on the back end.
Especially if the amount of tax that you pay on the harvest isn't determined until you actually pay the tax on the harvest when it's time to pay on the harvest.
Yeah, you know the taxes now, but it's like, hey,
change.
The tax, we could change it down the road.
Yeah.
We could change it on you.
Brandon, thoughts on this?
Yeah, I mean, listen, our firm, we have hosted webinars, seminars for years.
Yeah.
Right? Doug is a master at teaching and loves getting in front of these groups. And we always ask the same question. We've been doing this for years. Do you think, we ask the audience, do you think that taxes are going to be in the future lower than they are right now, the same, or higher?
Mm-hmm.
And inevitably, the majority of people, and then probably 96, 97% of people say higher.
Yeah.
And you could really ask anybody that question, and you look at the deficit or the debt that we're in as a country, $36 trillion. Yeah, I mean, are we making some changes right now? Our administration's trying to do some things right now, and we won't get into all of that. But we are in so much debt as a country, and in the future, most people feel like, yeah, I mean, taxes could go up, and so this is a huge issue. I mean, you think about this from the perspective of, if you stack dollars from top to bottom, from here to the moon, it would take $1 trillion. It would take 20, I believe. What is it? 20.
It's from here to the moon and back 200 times.
200 times.
1 trillion.
Yeah, we can't wrap our heads
trillion.
around these big numbers, right?
And then you times it by 36.
Because even then, when you say from here to the moon, you go, okay, I think I have. And then you say 200 times, like, okay, you lost me.
Physicist to but it's insane how much debt we're in, and so. I mean, the piper's got to be paid, and taxes are huge.
The crazy thing is, by the time people are watching this, it's going to be way higher than what you just said.
Right.
Every second is compounding.
Yeah,
it's
like
the debt
huge
clock. Just
amounts
watch that
adding
ticker
to
go.
the national debt.
It's incredible.
Yeah, if you get bored and you want something to do, just pull up the national debt clock and watch it.
Depressing.
Slow it is. It's depressing, right? Aaron, final thoughts on this segment. Why don't you wrap us all up on this segment here?
You bet. I mean, it comes down to making sure for application, like real life application for retirees. I mean, if they keep on doing what they've always done, they're going to keep getting what they've always gotten, right? And people, the number one fear, what is the number one fear amongst retirees or people even saving money? The fear of
running out of money.
Yeah,
right?
Right.
And they know it. They know something is wrong. Then nobody's ever pinpointed it
right
until now. That's what we're trying to do. We're going to pinpoint it for you to give you clarity. So you now, it makes sense. It resonates. It's there. And then you've got direction on, okay, what can you do about this, right?
Yeah.
What can you do? How can you take back control? And, empowering you with new ideas and new capabilities to be able to, not just keep on following the crowd. Because innately, you're like, something's amiss.
Is that what it is? I mean, why is it that when you kind of think it through, you go, oh, yeah, I think future tax rates are going to be higher, but I'm going to put money in tax-deferred investments. Why do people follow the crowd? Like, why is that?
Well, I mean, nobody teaches a finance class, a good finance class in high school or college, right? So we're not even teaching it.
It's a great point.
I don't know why. I mean, I think they like to keep us ignorant.
Right.
But one, it's not taught. So what do? You go to work. And when you go to work, you get your first job. You're like, oh, cool. I got this thing called a 401k. and you ask all your coworkers and everybody's like, oh yeah, I'm putting into it. I'm putting into this. What do you do? Okay, yeah, I guess I'll just follow the crowd. And that's what everybody does.
Yeah.
That's what my mom and dad do. So okay, I'll just do what they do. Now, unbeknownst to you, that your mom and dad are going, they're sitting there stressing about it, going like, we got to do something better than this because this isn't going to work. We're going to run out of money.
Yeah. And a lot of people don't even realize it till they get there.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, if you're enjoying this content and are wondering how to take advantage of these ideas, how to take control of your financial future and get on the path to lasting wealth, at L.A.S.E.R Financial, we help individuals and families like yours implement proven strategies to grow and protect your wealth. Strategies that don't rely on risky markets or high taxes. One of the most common tools is the Index Universal Life Policy, or IUL. It's not just insurance, it's a tax-free retirement strategy, a way to grow your money with compound interest and a safety net against market downturns. Imagine this. During retirement, your money grows when the market goes up, but when it drops, your principal stays protected from those market downturns. And because IUL strategies can be structured for tax-free income, you get to keep more of what you've worked so hard to save. Whether you're planning for retirement or looking to securing a financial legacy for your family, we can show you how IUL can make all the difference. Go to laserfinancial.com or call 801-505-0409 to schedule a free consultation and see how these strategies can work for you. Don't wait. Take the first step toward a brighter future, more secure financial future today. This content is also brought to you by IUL Insiders. Hey, listen, if you're a financial professional and you're kind of listening in on this show going, hey, I want to learn more about this, and you're wondering how you can expand your business and take it to the next level with Index Universal Life, or IUL, you already know that it's one of the most powerful tools in the industry. But let me ask you this. Are you leveraging it to its full potential? That's where IUL Insiders comes in. They've trained thousands of professionals like you to go beyond just selling policies. They show you how to build thriving, scalable businesses that set you apart from the competition. And in the next few weeks, they're hosting the IUL Challenge. It's a free 3-day event designed specifically for financial professionals who want to master the art and science of IUL. You'll learn proven strategies to market, design, and sell properly structured policies that deliver incredible results for your clients and your bottom line. If you're ready to elevate your practice and scale your business, visit IULchallenge.com/93 to save your seat. Spots are limited, so don't wait. That's IULchallenge.com/93. Take your business to the next level. Okay, compound interest. What's the value of a penny? Albert Einstein once said, compound interest is the 8th wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it. He who doesn't pays it. Emran, what is compound interest and why is it so important?
You know, it is the secret to making sure we don't run out of money. I mean, when we're looking at it, when I look at retirees, I mean, Aaron mentioned about saving early and how it can compound for you. But if you're retiring and you don't want to run out of money, really understanding how to preserve and protect compound interest is the answer. It's the key. You know, and how do we protect and preserve that? Protect it from taxes, protect it from everything else. Because again, if you start out if I have a certain amount of money, whether $100,000 or even $1 million, and I hit retirement right there, or if I'm approaching retirement, how do I get my 100,000 to turn into $1 million? How do I get my money working for me rather than me working for my money? And, you know, so if you take that $100,000 and just a simple rule of 72, like we love that rule of 72, take the interest rate that you're earning, divide it in 72. It'll tell you how many years it takes to double your money. How many years does it take to fold that sheet of paper, right? How many years does it take me to fold that sheet of paper in half? So if you're earning like a 10% return, it's going to take about every 7 years. 7%, 7% is every 10 years, 10% is every about 7 years. So if I have $100,000 in 10 years, you know, I could have that doubled to $200,000, and that doubles to $400,000, and then $800,000 and $1.6 million. So during my working years, I could easily get to $3.2 million during my working years. Yeah. With just starting out with getting up to that $100,000 mark, and it just kind of snowballs as you get there. Now, don't let it stop, and lean into making sure that that miracle compound interest continues even on into retirement and beyond.
Yeah. That's great. Doug, you kind of touched on this in the last segment. Do you want to kind of continue on with this theme of compound interest, taxes, and kind of how this kind of works?
You bet. In fact, I think it was Rothschild that said the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest tax free.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yes.
So let's look at this. In the various books that I've authored, we show this chart of 4 phases of retirement planning. If you'll bring up my illustration again, there's a contribution phase where, Americans contribute money towards their savings accounts for retirement. It overlaps the accumulation where hopefully you're earning, interest, dividends, or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then someday you're going to take distributions out of this, withdrawals. Too many people go into withdrawal when they hit this phase because the amount of taxes they pay. Right. And then when they go to transfer it, none of us are getting out of here alive. I don't mean out of this podcast. Okay. I mean out of this life, okay? So we usually leave behind something that would have sustained us had we lived longer, okay? Now, taxed as earned investments, as I illustrated a few minutes ago, you take after-tax dollars, you pay tax every year, you pay tax on the gains, and it's taxed as you transfer. Red. Tax. If you take after-tax money and you put into something like a deferred annuity, it's only tax deferred, but you go to access that money, it's now taxable. LIFO, last in, first out.
Yeah.
Now, IRAs and 401ks, as Aaron said, you get a tax break on the seed money, okay? But then during the harvest, you get to pay tax. And most people agree, as Brandon said, we're not going to be in a lower tax bracket, okay?
Right.
Now, my favorite vehicle is a max-funded tax advantage insurance contract. It is provided basically where you self-insure, which is Section 101A of the Internal Revenue Code, okay? Where you're actually owning your death benefit. We'll talk about that on other podcasts. But I'm funding it with after-tax dollars, and it accumulates tax-free. I can access the money tax-free, and when I die, it blossoms and transfers tax-free, okay? So let me show you the math that I had a moment ago. So many times I tell people, you don't choose investments based upon which one grow to the most. You choose them based upon which ones are going to generate the most. At the time in life, you're going to need and use the money the most.
Yeah.
So let's look at all these. Here's the taxed as earned column. Unfortunately, let's say at retirement, you needed $100,000 a year of income net. $100,000 to buy gas, groceries, prescriptions, and golf green fees, okay? Tax as earned investment, you wouldn't even make it one year into retirement, and you're already relying on Social Security, charity, welfare of your children for support.
Right.
Here is the same $1,048,000. And I have advisors go, see, I have $1,048,000, you have $1,048,000 in your IUL fund. What's the diff? The difference is, in order to net $100,000, after tax out of that IRA or 401k, in a 33% bracket, we have to pull out 50% more money. I have to pull out $150,000, pay tax of a third, 50 to net 100 to buy gas and groceries. Okay,
Always eye-opening. Eye-opening when
Right.
people see that.
Yeah.
Just boom.
And so all of a sudden, here's this $1 million in an IRA or 401k at age 65, and it's drained dry, completely gone by age 76.
Yeah.
Now, an IUL fund, I'm over here with $1 million, same amount when we started, but I pull out $100,000, I get to net $100,000 because it's tax-free. So when the IRA or 401k is out of money, I still have my $1 million, and it's actually staying ahead of inflation. Now, do you know the fastest growing segment of American society today are those people reaching over the age of 100?
Right.
So the chance of a baby boomer couple, one of them making it to age 96 is highly likely. So this L.A.S.E.R fund can keep generating $100,000 a year for another 20 years, and they still have their $1 million. If we do the math, that's $2 million plus, that's a $3 million better retirement strategy than the same amount of money at age 65 in an IRA or 401k that ran out in 11 years. That is the power of having it tax-free on the back end.
Okay, Doug, can you just say everything that you just said again?
Oh, you bet. Okay.
But faster. No, that's great. That's fantastic. Okay, I got a pop quiz. Brandon, if you could take $1 million today, okay, versus 1 penny doubling every day for 30 days, which would you choose?
I feel like I'm being set up.
You are being set up.
I know I should probably say the penny, but I'm
Right.
gonna take the $1 million.
Hey, it's $1 million. What's wrong with
If
that?
I walk home and tell my wife that I gave up $1 million
For a penny.
for a bunch of pennies,
That's right.
she's gonna kill me. So.
I see Aaron's over here on his calculator. I'm going to figure this out before the question
Aaron's
comes to
gonna
me.
math it out and tell me how stupid I am. But I'm taking the $1 million. Tell me.
You're taking the million.
Yeah.
Brandon,
Yeah.
come on.
Why is it that people kind of take what's in front of them?
You put the whole cake in front of me. I'm gonna
Yeah.
eat it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I think as
That marshmallow experience with
we're
a
in-
little child. You go, you put hey, here's the one
patient.
marshmallow, but you can take two if you
sometimes
wait.
we're not long-sighted, right?
Yes.
We're short-sighted.
We're
Right.
instant gratification
Yes.
society.
Yeah,
Whatever
we
do
are.
today.
Yeah, you
We are.
offered me $1 million, and that's all I heard. The
All right.
pennies I just blocked out.
Aaron, how confident are you to take the penny doubling? Because
I'm taking the penny. Man.
you're going to take the penny. Did you already do the math? Is it
Yeah.
done? What's
So-
the math on it?
So
What's
we got
the math?
5.3 million.
5.3 million. Whoa.
5.3
go.
million
Now,
dollars.
okay, Brandon, you just
Okay.
lost $4 million. All right.
Please don't tell Mrs. Johnson that I gave up $4 billion.
Aaron took the penny. I took the million, and I doubled it 30 times. So I don't know about.
Yeah,
I don't
I'll
know
take
why.
option
I mean,
C.
if he's doubling it, why
I take
can't
option
double it?
C.
I mean, I was going to take the $1 million and put it to work right away, though.
Yeah, it's exactly right. Let's have the million doubling. Okay, our next segment, indexing, not indexes. Talking about growing our money, right? The swing versus the clubs, the strategy versus the commodity. Warren Buffett, a man famous for his investing advice, once said this.
The first rule in investment is don't lose. And the second rule in investment is don't forget the first rule. And that's all the rules there are.
Okay. Aaron, we often talk about indexing and how powerful it is. And just to clarify, we're talking about indexing, not indexed funds. Can you show us what indexing is and how it is one of the small changes that the theme of the show here today, how it's one of the small changes as a strategy that can make a huge difference down the road?
Okay, so indexing is very, very powerful. What we're going to do here is on my screen, I'm going to draw for you guys. And
We're getting
show you.
serious. We're getting out the whiteboards here.
There we go. I got my whiteboard working. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to show on the whiteboard here what indexing, the power of indexing does. So basically, the cool thing with indexing is you're linked to the market. You're not in the market. So your money is not in the stock market. You can't lose when the market goes down. So we're going to kind of illustrate this. So if we started down here and we say the market goes, kind of skewampus, and after 1 year it ends there. Well, with IUL or with Index Universal Life, we have what's called point to point. So you're going to earn a gain. And let's just say we have what's called 0 is the hero. You can't lose if the market goes down. But let's just keep it simple and say we can make as high as 10. A lot of these will have a cap of like 10,
Yep.
13, 25%. Some will be uncapped. There's lots of different things. We're going
Right.
to just keep it simple.
Keep it simple. Okay.
Okay, so right now, over this next year, basically you go point to point. So right there, it doesn't matter what it does in between. It matters what it is in a year from now. And let's just say we made 10%. Okay, so it was 10% gain. The market went up 10, you made 10. Now, the next year, let's say that the market goes down. The market goes down, and as it goes down over the next year, ends there, okay? You look at that loss right there, and that loss, the market is maybe down, it's a little down more than, so let's just say it's like a negative 15 for an example. So negative 15, well, guess what? 0's the hero. We can't lose. So in this example, we don't lose. We stay right here. So you look at that, and we basically stayed, and we didn't lose because we have no losses in the market.
It's pretty nice. So
Okay.
you didn't lose what you just locked in the point before.
Yes, thank you. Your gains are locked in. So it's one key point is your gains are locked in every year, and this is growing tax-free.
What about interest? Is that locked in too?
Yeah, that interest is locked in.
Brandon
can't-
over there stirring the pot.
So you keep that gain. Now, the next year, let's say the market starts to come back up the next year. So everyone else is down here. Market goes like this, and after 1 year, it's back up. So we look at point to point there. But in reality, we never lost. So we get all that gain as well. So we go right there. So we got 0's the hero. And the next year, let's say the market goes up right there. That's about another 10. That's goes back up. So let's just say it's another, let's just say 15%. So the market grows 15, but everyone else is trying to make back losses.
Right.
We are going to be capped at 10, but we never lost down here.
Yeah, and you're using this analogy, but we've actually seen this in real world, actual circumstances with actual, policies or IUL.
All the
different-
time.
Yeah, all the time, right?
I mean, you got sometimes the market will outperform this in a given year.
Yeah.
And we're okay with that. We want safety, conservative. We have more aggressive strategies, but we can't lose when the market goes down. Indexing, the power is your gains are locked in.
Right.
Zero's the hero. Annual reset.
It's great.
So annual reset, you reset back at what the market is. So in 2008, went down 40%. We reset that new low point. We made gains from there on. Everyone else took how long to break even, you guys? How long did it take? Like 4 or 5 years?
Yeah, right.
To break even again, where this,
Just
we
to
never
get
lost.
back up what they lost.
Let alone, I mean, if you're retired, when that market goes down right there, what are you doing? Taking a year off of retirement? Go back to work?
Right.
Or you're taking money out, which is a double loss.
Right.
A double loss.
You're taking out money while it's down.
Yeah.
And now you compound on less because of what you took out.
And then your advisor kicked you while you're down too. By the
That's
way.
right, taking out
He still charged you.
Oh, there's so much we can talk about. We're going to get to all of this in another additional shows, including how they even do indexing and all kinds of other exciting things and the different types of indexing. Doug, I noticed you're over here. You've got some tools that you've brought up. Have we sprung a leak here, or what's going on with these tools you got?
I love metaphors, okay?
What?
But, this lock in and reset. I mean, in our book, I think Emran, the illustration of what if the market went up 50, down 50, up 50, down 50. And these idiots on Wall Street go, oh, the market's been flat.
Right.
No, if you had 100 grand and it goes up to 50% to 150, and then the market drops 50%, you lose 50% of 150.
That's right.
You're down to 75.
Yes.
Then you go up to 112.5 and it loses 50. You're down to 56,000. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I love indexing because, as Aaron was illustrating, when the market goes up, you get to experience that gain and you lock in that gain and you reset. What does that mean? Here's a regular wrench. If I was tightening a nut or a bolt, okay, and I tighten it, and if I don't take it off, and then I get reset, I undo all the progress. That's people in the stock market, okay? Right. They make money, and then they lose what they made, and it takes 4 or 5 years to come back. We saw that happen twice in the Great Recession.
Right.
This is a ratchet wrench, okay? Indexing is like a ratchet wrench. So when I have my money in an index, I'm able to tighten, I'm able to make progress. And then if the next year, if the market doesn't do anything where it actually loses, I don't lose. I just click, reset. I didn't lose any of the progress I made with my money. And then the next year I reset. Zero may be my hero, or else I may make progress again, and I constantly reset. That's the beauty.
That's a good looking sound.
I was going to say, that's a satisfying sound. Can you hold that up to the microphone?
Yeah, this is it. Hear that?
There you go.
You just constantly reset. Click.
Anybody who uses wrenches, that's such a satisfying sound to hear.
Yep.
Brandon, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think to just jump on the metaphors and analogies. First of all, I love indexing. Indexing there's a smart way to get 10%, and there's a risky way to get 10%. Or if you want to say, well, what about averages, right? And if I'm averaging 8 to 9% in a smart way versus a risky way, I'll take the smart way all day, where I have peace of mind. I'm protected on the downside. So moving forward, when people are in the retirement years, they would much prefer to do an 8-9% smart average than a risky 8 or 9.
It's interesting, going back to the analogy of the penny doubling, right? If I had said to you or Aaron, okay, if the penny doubling every day, you get $1 million, or a penny doubling every day. But in the penny doubling every day scenario, there's a risk that one of those 30 days you lose everything. You just lose it all.
Yeah, now I look like
now what are people
guy.
Right? So when you take that's really interesting element that you can
I talk to my people all the time when they're what is indexing, how does it work, and these analogies are great, but I always tell them, like, well, think about stairs. Like, they can go up, sideways, up, sideways, up, sideways.
Yeah.
And over time, that's how indexing works. You're either going up or you go sideways, like Aaron showed in his analogy. But we eliminate the downside.
Man, falling down those stairs hurts. You don't want to do it.
You want to ratchet, so every stair you go up, you are held in place.
I'm going up.
We're just combining all the analogies.
You're locked in on that stair. You're not
slipping on that stair, falling down.
I love it.
Rear end
I love
doesn't
it.
feel good.
That's great. Emran, wrap us up on this whole segment here.
You bet. When you look at this, indexing is a strategy. It's not just a club or a tool, right? And that's where you often find the best answers. You find the best answers in life when you look beyond just a simple tool It's okay, how are you going to use the tool? It's the method behind the tool that is really the secret right there.
Yes.
So oftentimes, even my dad will even ask, hey, you know what, Emron, if you were going to enter into a professional golf tournament this next weekend, what would you rather have? Would you rather have somebody like Scotty Scheffler's swing or his clubs? It doesn't take me long to think about that at all. I'm like, I know what I look like out on the golf course.
Not a difficult question.
Right? And if I could get Scotty Scheffler's swing, I wouldn't be here right now. I'd be out on the golf course.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And that, because the value's in the swing. The swing is what's worth tens of millions of dollars, not the club. If the secret were the clubs, we'd all do what?
We just go buy clubs.
We'd all go buy the clubs.
Yeah, right.
And that's what you're going to see here is we're going to get deeper into the actual strategies, because that's where you find the real answers.
Yeah, my friends and I, we started playing darts recently.
Oh, yeah.
And I went and bought some $50 to $100 darts
It didn't help.
instead of the ones that came in the package.
Did it even help at all?
No, they didn't help.
No.
I'm still the worst.
I've watched him. It doesn't help.
I'm still the worst, and so those extra expensive darts didn't work. So my friend that practices is to throw. It's
Yeah.
It's like as a little
Clubs
kid, if
versus
you got
things.
a brand new pair of Michael Jordan basketball shoes. You were
Yeah.
convinced when you put
Yeah.
those on,
I'm
you went
gonna
out with your friend.
fly high like
you were
Michael
gonna
Jordan.
Just like you were going to kill everybody, and it's
great.
like, oh wait, I'm
Yeah.
still the same.
I mean, the analogy is about like there's the touch of the master's hand, right? The old beat up violin that the master picks up and then plays beautiful music. I mean, you can go on and on, right?
Yes,
But it's
yeah.
a great principle, the strategy versus just the commodity or the thing, right?
Right,
Just the
Right.
strategy.
Anybody can
beats
sell
all.
you the shoes or the clubs.
Yeah, exactly.
Strategy.
Yeah, and I don't even like golf, so. All right.
And there's a reason why. I've seen
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
I know why you don't like
my
golf.
idea of a 4-man scramble is a breakfast item. Okay, if you're enjoying this content and are wondering how to take advantage of these ideas, at L.A.S.E.R Financial, we help individuals and families like yours implement proven strategies to grow and protect your wealth. Go to laserfinancial.com or call 801-505-0409 to schedule a free consultation and see how these strategies can work for you. Go to laserfinancial.com or call 801-505-0409 to schedule a free consultation and see how these strategies work for you. Don't wait. Take the first step toward a brighter, more secure financial future today. This content's also brought to you by IUL Insiders. If you're a financial professional tuning into the show, we know you're out there and you're wondering how you can expand your business working with Index Universal Life or IUL. Join us for the IUL Challenge. It's a free 3-day event designed specifically for financial professionals who want to master the art and science of IUL. Visit IULchallenge.com/93 to save your seat. Spots are limited, so don't wait. That's IULchallenge.com/93. Take your business to the next level. Okay, on to our next segment. Does IUL work? Emron, many critics claim that IUL is full of you-know-what, and that what Aaron just taught about indexing, what we all just talked about with indexing, is not true. Can you give us some actual real-world examples or evidence of how this actually is true and real?
You bet. It's one of my favorite things to do, is to show the actual evidence. The great thing is nobody's been doing this longer than we have. So we have actual evidence. So if we pull this, as I pull this up right here, this is an actual statement of one of my clients. And we're looking at this coming out of COVID, coming out of the scare of COVID, made the market crash in March of 2020. Like Aaron shows right there, we locked in gains of 0. We didn't lose a dime. We didn't lose a dime due to market volatility.
Yes.
Okay, so due to the market, my client didn't lose anything. But coming out of that right here, you're going to see in March of 2021, we know how to manage these to optimize the returns. When I say optimize the returns, I mean people, even in Aaron's example.
Yeah, I just saw 10%. That's not
just
the only one available.
Right.
Nope, because right here we nailed this. We nailed this with a 61% return.
That's
In 1 year.
That's
1 year. 1 year point to point.
That's a life insurance policy.
And it didn't lose the year before. It's not a VUL. Okay, this is not a VUL. This is an IUL.
That's wild.
This is an IUL. So, I mean, $872,000 made $535,000. So 872 became $1.4 million bucks. And my favorite part about it is what? Right? It's all tax-free.
Yeah. And that's locked in, right? So that
Yeah.
kind of ratchet analogy that Doug was talking about and Aaron.
Yep, it's all tax-free right there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you look at it, this same account over the next 4 years. So 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. So there it was, made $500,000. Next year, We locked in $200,000 on that thing. In 2023, the market was actually down during those 2 points.
Yeah.
So during those 2 points, what did we do? Look at that. We locked in a gain of no gain, no loss, zero.
Yeah, you
So
didn't
we got a
lose due
zero.
to that market downturn.
Right. We didn't lose anything to that. We didn't
Right.
make anything that year, but we just stayed flat. And then coming out in 2024, 267,000. So you look at that overall, what is that? You know, with all of that put together right there, that's $1 million tax free. Just the growth alone. Just the growth alone. You know what? And the fun thing is, I mean, we can do this all day long. Right? Yeah. I can show you returns all day long, 20, 34, 20%. You know, you build one of these the right way.
Yeah,
it turns into a beautiful cash cow. Yeah. Just like a 5-story office building completely leased out is a beautiful cash cow for that landlord. That's exactly what this is right here, where you can lock in beautiful returns and protect those returns when the market goes down.
Yeah.
And the great thing is I mean, if you want to see more anecdotal evidence, you know, just check out one of Doug's other playlists on his YouTube channel. Does IUL work?
IUL work? It's a whole playlist.
That's me before I grew a beard.
Wait a minute. Yeah, look at that. That looks great.
Whoa.
I think it's important to point out though that is a properly structured IUL, and if people are watching this, like, oh, I can just
I just go out and put money in a vending machine and get something.
If it's not a properly structured, we call it a L.A.S.E.R fund.
Brandon, every week we come across someone that's bought one that was done wrong.
All the time.
Yeah,
right?
All the time.
Every time we have people come by, and it's just sad. So it's like, got to be done right.
Yeah.
Now, that was important to point out there, but, Aaron mentioned the beard. What was the real reason why you...
Aaron's back on the beard comment.
All right, I followed my brother's footsteps. All right.
We got to find a picture of Aaron without a beard.
Whose jacket's better?
Okay. Stay on track, everybody. But I want to go back to this comment because Brandon, you're, president of L.A.S.E.R Financial and L.A.S.E.R.Financial.com. We talked about that, doing things the right way. When we're talking about structure, is it important to have somebody in your corner that does it the right way, like a specialist, someone that can help you?
100%. I mean, the books have been written. I mean, Doug, Aaron, Emran, I mean, they've been teaching on this very topic for decades, right? And yet there's still people out there that are buying these policies and working with agents that have no idea what they're doing. They're just like, oh, it's an IUL. This company is, good for, whatever reason they decide. And there's lots of good companies out there. There's good, there's better, and there's best. You want the best person with the best expertise, understanding, setting it up so that it's going to optimize every dollar you put in. We're all about optimizing, maximizing every penny that goes in there. We want it accumulating, indexing, and that's the swing. That goes back to the swing.
It's not just the club.
It's not the club.
The IUL is the club.
Yeah, there's so much more to it. We won't.
Yeah, it's not just about I have an IUL or get an IUL.
So I must have the right answer.
Yeah, that's not it. That's not it.
Yeah,
exactly.
But our firm is all about it. We
Such a good point.
This is what we eat, drink, and sleep.
Okay. Well, as always, let's have our Doug Andrew. Let's wrap this segment. Speaking of good, better, best, I won't say who's good and better, but let's have the best wrap us up.
Thank you. Yeah, the way I like to tell it is using a story. This is a true story. Years ago, at the turn of the century, I started to travel to Chicago every 90 days to be in a mastermind group headed by Dan Sullivan, the strategic coach, okay? The first 3 trips I got there, and one time it was during the winter, and, I'd get to the Delta terminal and then baggage claim. I'd get my bags, and then I would go out the doors following the crowd, and I would go across about 6 lanes of traffic, sometimes dragging my luggage through slush, and then I would get over to the Hilton Hotel, and then you had to cross another 6 lanes going over to the baggage claim.
Yeah.
Okay. And I got there one day, and my hair was windblown, and I was freezing cold because it had been raining, And I get there to the baggage claim, and the guy that I was sitting next to on the plane was standing there, and his hair was neat. His suit was dry. He's drinking a lemonade, loving it in this cold weather.
He's eating a shot cotton dog.
You're just
wasn't
and I'm like, wet.
I look at him. I go, "How did you get here before me and in such great shape?"
Yeah.
And I'll never forget. He goes, "Oh, didn't you know?" Yeah, it's a little bit obscure there, but there's escalators that say you can go down. And you can go underneath those 6 lanes of traffic safely over to the underground level of the Hilton Hotel, and then under the ground, and you come up this elevator next to this hot dog stand right there in the baggage
And he
claim.
gets a hot dog.
Okay, so then I found out the safer, more shorter way,
Yeah.
and then I had to make a choice. Now that I knew, I could either continue to follow the herd,
Right.
follow the crowd, and take my life in my hands and all these risks, or else I could just take the more safer, sheltered route and get to my destination. That's indexing. So many people follow the herd and put it out there in the market, and then they wonder because they're getting hammered with taxes and market volatility and everything else.
Well, that is great. Just a reminder that if you're enjoying this content and you want to see more of it, please like and subscribe. And if you would like to ask us a question, please comment on this video, and we may use your question in one of our next shows. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Make sure that the small changes in your life have a big impact on your future, and we wish you all the best in the 3 dimensions of your authentic wealth. Thanks, and we will see you next time.